Irv, I heard and counted 87 objections of yours to prosecution questions in the morning session, including objections to allusions to sex orgies at the ranch. Why so many objections?
Well, again, I prefer not to get specific because of the gag rule, the order that we not discuss matters that are before the court. But I will, but answering in a more general way, first of all, let me backtrack. I would be glad to go over with you when we get the actual record of these questions and answers, and let's haul down the books, haul down the rules of evidence, haul down the case law and the statutes, and see whether what has occurred is proper or improper.
I'm not making a legal judgment.
I appreciate that. The fact is, however, that if lawyers ask improper questions, then it's the obligation of the lawyer on the other side to try to do something about it. In fact, that's one of the techniques that a prosecutor has of getting a result at any price, no matter what, even though it's improper, even though the result is not a legal one. The prosecution has the power, by opening his mouth and saying certain things, to bring out certain material.
Now, you're the latest attorney to come into the case, and you didn't get to see any of the witnesses testify. When you argue to the jury, is this going to present problems for you?
Well, of course it is. Of course it is, because I'm in no position whatsoever to really comment upon the witnesses' demeanor, how they testified, the character of their testimony. I can't describe them. I can't comment on the manner in which they testified. I have to leave that to the jury because they saw them, and I have to beg the jury to in effect, do my job for me, which I'm helpless in doing.
Well, I'm going to concentrate mostly on the witnesses that testified against my client, Susan Atkins. Mm-hmm. And I think there's about 6 or 7 witnesses that concentrated on Miss Atkins and testified against her.
Irv Kenerick, what can we hear from you?
What's your question?
I'd like your opinion about Mr. Fitzgerald's presentation this morning. I'd like to know if it jibes with the other 2 gentlemen here. Also, I'd like to know, since you're Manson's attorney, what, if anything, you plan to tell the jury in particular?
Well, I'd like to say that that Mr. Fitzgerald certainly, in his argument to the jury, in this case, has shown that he deserves the reputation that he has for being one of the finest trial lawyers in this country.
Mr. Keith, number one question, how do you think Paul Fitzgerald is doing with his argument to the jury?
I think he's doing a very excellent job, a very thorough job. He's been very articulate, very dramatic in places, and I feel it's something that the jury is going to listen to attentively, and I do feel very strongly that that jury is impressed by the job he's doing.
Is that your client will have gotten a fair and complete trial out of this?
Well, I don't think I should comment on that. I think that's up to some other tribunal, perhaps.
All right. Mr. Shin, what is your comment on Mr. Fitzgerald's presentation this morning and on your own upcoming one?
Well, I think Mr. Paul Fitzgerald has done a wonderful job, and he's covering most of the main points. And I think he's going to be through this afternoon. Then I'll argue, and I'll probably take about 3-4 hours to argue.
Are there any particular points that you can tell us about now, or are you ethically allowed to do that before you actually present your case?
That what he is doing by way of argument is magnificent.
He looks tired and worn in there this morning, and as a matter of fact, none of you gentlemen look completely rested, and I'm presuming it's because of the length of this trial.
Well,
you work at night as well as daytime, I'm sure.
Yes, that's a very fair statement.
Uh-huh. Now, is there any particular thing that you'd like to comment on the fact that none of the defendants are in court at this time?
No, I don't think that because of the publicity order of Judge Keene and Judge Older, I don't think that I can comment upon. I don't think that I can fairly respond to your question.
Okay. Is there any particular thing you would like to comment on that I haven't thought to ask you?
Yes, I would like to comment upon the district attorney's continuing attempt to interfere with the fairness of this trial by the publicity that is finding its genesis right in the district attorney's office.
Now, I don't know if this will upset your case or not, but I think you got a heck of a good Christmas present there with that tie, Irv.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Morning, Charlie. Any comment at all?
I have a big laugh. Ah.